friends, welcome. Friends, yesterday I saw this tweet where Vodafone Idea is seen requesting the government to enhance the government's stake in the company, which is 22.6% currently, to 49%, and the company is seeking a relief of 36,950 crores on the total dues. Now friends, this is exactly what I have predicted in one of my video, and I don't know whether the viewers will recall. I'll show you the video. The title of the video is this: BSNL AGR due became equity. Can Vodafone Idea expect the same? The untold story. Now here I have given the reference of BSNL because if you recall, BSNL has been granted so many reliefs, so many packages, and in lieu of those packages, the government has kept on increasing stake in BSNL in terms of equity, and this is the timeline. This is the timeline, and the Excel sheet which I had shown in my video, where I am talking about how the government has taken equity and what were the utilization rights for taking the equity. And you will see that this is being capital expenditure, this is for spectrum, this is for AGR dues, and this is for various other things. Sequentially, timeline, date of allotment has also been mentioned, which I had extracted from the BSNL's report. Now, why I'm doing this video, friends? I just want to talk about that the prediction that was made in this video is turning out to be correct. That is point number one. The second point which I want to talk about is that what will be the financial implication on Vodafone from their ability to pay, or the dues that is going to be left out, and how much they have to pay when the moratorium ends in September 2024. Will this request which Vodafone Idea has made to the government is going to be sufficient or not? So we are going to talk about numbers, and I am going to refer to my past articles to give you a very deep dive sense as to how you should look at this whole issue, right? So let's start first. So this is the article which I had written long back, and in this article I have listed out a table. I have just zoomed it, and viewers can pause it and look at it, where I have given a timeline of the debt calculations for Vodafone Idea for all the line items written in their quarterly and annual reports. I think mostly it is quarterly report annual report till this column number 6, and the column number 7 I have just extrapolated based on the past trend of increase or remaining stable. Now, interestingly, because this is so confusing and sometimes it becomes so difficult to understand what is going on, and I'm going to correlate this whole issues together so that you understand. Now, if you look at the final number here, which is the total debt of 213,813, which I had estimated, which will be on 31st March 2025 when the new annual report will come. Based on that, I had calculated an EMI for a weighted average years of 8.3131, and with a weighted average interest of 8.96%, because I know the interest rates here. If you see, I know the interest rates, and I know when the it will be due and how many periods of installment is there. So I can calculate both this number here very easily. It is not very difficult to do. And then using the deferred payment calculation formula, I had estimated that there will be a 40,000 crores of annual payment which will be due if nothing is done, right? If nothing is done, so 40,000 crores, 40,425 crores. Now friends, this sometimes becomes so confusing, and I'll tell you why. Because if you look at this table, you will find that there are certain line items. For example, if you see this line item, starting from 31st December 2023, this has remained static, right? And then if you look at this spectrum auction 2016 numbers have remained static. Whereas the AGR judgment number, actually it actually increased a little bit, or it decreased a little bit, and then it increased, because this is the actual number. This is not I have extrapolated. I got it from their annual report. So this increased, right? And then where is the other increase? So if you look at that, these numbers are also kind of same, but there is a slight increase here in 31st March 2024. And then if you look at this number, spectrum auction of March 2025, this is decrease, right? And so apart from the AGR judgment, apart from the spectrum auction, and then there are certain items which have increased, some certain items decreased. Now the question comes the following, because we know that these line items plus the AGR judgment line items is under moratorium, and the debt is given here under, which is moratorium. The total debt is here. So why I am making this point, and you will understand why I am making this point. Because you know that before the start of the moratorium period, the government gave Vodafone Idea an option to convert their deferred payment, the payment which is going to get deferred for the period of moratorium period, the interest on that part, to equity. And that's how this number came up. What was the number? This 22.6% holding of DOT came up. Right? This you know from the fact. And how much was the total value? 16.13 billion shares, which translate to 16,000 roughly around 16,000 crores. Right? This was the number. Right? So the question is the following. And then let me, before I lay out the question, I will give you one more data point, which is also very interesting, and you will find this a little confusing also. See what this is the this has been the extract from the various quarterly statement of interest and finance cost of Vodafone Idea. And you will notice that interest and finance cost for Vodafone Idea on a yearly basis turns out to be roughly around 24 to 25,000. Right? But my estimate here is the following. See, what was my estimate here? My estimate here, if the debt stays the same, the interest and finance cost would have been on a yearly basis will be 40,000 crores, which currently is 25, because they have to book interest in their books in order to calculate loss, right, or profit. And that's why this line item is being shown up, and you can very clearly see that. Now, where is this difference? Because from 40,000 and you are booking only 25,000 crores of interest, there is a difference of 15,000 crores of interest. Why there is a difference? That is the question that I want to ask, right? I believe, and this is what my theory is, or you can say analysis is, that some of the line items here, maybe this line item, November 2012 auction line item, maybe the February 2014 line item, right? And then the line item, this line item, and this line item may have been factored in such a way that the principal part remained same till the end of the moratorium period, and whatever interest that got accumulated in this line item was converted into equity, and this is the value that emanated. But this is not consistent, which is, again, I find it very strange, and I have asked many people and nobody has got any clue that why this line item, for example, this line item 24712 has been raised to 27149 in this year, the annual report, which is a data which I have extracted from their annual report. There is nothing, no extrapolation here. Some have remained static, like if you see here 6089, but it has increased from 55345 to here. So I do not know, what is going on. I am basically scratching my head and I do not know. Okay. But in order to just make the matter a little bit more simple, let's understand the following thing. There are certain line items where the interest for the moratorium period has been factored in, and it has gone for the calculation of the DOT's stake, which is currently they have taken, which is 22.6%, which we know is a factual fact. There are certain, debt elements here which does not cover. Maybe they are out of the moratorium period. I do not know what is going on. The calculation do not match. So it could be possible there are certain items which do not match and is not captured within the moratorium period, and there are some accounting which is going on which I do not understand. But the fact of the matter is, which is nobody can dispute, there is a debt which is roughly to the tune of 2.1 lakh crores and maybe little higher. And if you do a calculation of yearly installments after the end of the moratorium period, you will definitely, because this year is not the complete year, so this may not be true for this financial year, maybe for the next financial year this may be true, and you will clearly see there is an outflow of 40,000 crores of interest payments. And now if you are going to reduce your principal from how much, because if you look at this tweet, what they are saying, that this is the principal that they want to convert. This is not interest. They want to convert in principal. So what does it mean? It basically means, let's assume that this is the debt. right? And if let's say what was the number here, let me use the number, it is 39,950 crores. Now take 40,000, right, for the sake of calculation. 40,000 divided by 21210000, right? So there is a reduction of it is actually 19% of the total debt that Vodafone Idea holds, right? That's the situation. So if it is 19% of the total debt the Vodafone Idea holds, so what does it basically means? That your overall principal has been reduced from 2.1 lakh crores to a value which will be, if I subtract this 2.1 lakh crores minus 40,000 crores, so this is the number. So you are going to basically get into a level of around 1,70,000 crores, and in the process you are going to increase your stake to 49%, and this table gives you a very close approximation. So look at this. Currently DOT is holding 22.6%, the outstanding debt is this much, and the yearly outflow is this much. If DOT held 40%, then the outstanding debt would have been 1.93 lakh crores and the yearly installment would have been 34,000 crores. Now this is close to that number, 49%, 50.4%. So your outstanding debt will be 1.3 lakh crores and the yearly installment will now get reduced to 30,000 crores. Now the point here is that is why I have been saying that this number 49 or 50, whatever you call it, is not going to help Vodafone to bail themselves out, because there will be an obligation to pay 30,000 crores of interest, and that is not anyway, they within their ballpark range, because their gross revenue, if you add on a yearly basis, is roughly around 43,000 crores. So 43,000 crores is their gross revenue and their EBITDA is 40%. They are no way to be able to pay this amount, which is what they will result in, because if their principal gets reduced to 1.73 lakh crores because of this conversion which we are talking about here, which is 40,000 crores, then there will be an obligation of 30,000 crores of interest payments for at least those period which we have calculated here, which is for the year of 8.31 years and weighted average interest of 9. It may be slightly, it will change here and there because the weights are going to change, because which item will get deducted, etc. But it will be roundabout, will remain the same, right? So therefore, this is not going to be the end of the story. It's very clear. And there is nothing inside, because if the government gives any relief on AGR or anything, right, it is going to have to unwind a lot of things which it has done similar to other operators like BSNL, Bharti, etc. And because the government has taken so much accounting, they have put so many accounting trails in BSNL books, in the budget, in the BSNL quarterly annual statement, undoing those. Because you can't just give relief to just Vodafone. You have to take out the BSNL's AGR dues equity. The government has to unwind this also. Whatever equity the government has taken on BSNL, that has to be unwinded, right? So they can't really simply say that, I'm going to reduce the AGR debt to a certain level so that, Vodafone Idea can bail, itself out. That is not going to happen. So simple is that this 40,000 crores of relief is going to increase the Vodafone Idea stake to roughly around 49%, which is close to the number that we are showing, and it is going to reduce their overall, now they'll put their overall principal payment obligation after September to 1.73 lakh crores, which is a sizable amount, and there will be an interest outflow of 30,000 crores per year, which they will not be able to manage, and therefore there is something which has to happen. So one way to bail it out is that you convert this not at a face value of rupees 10, but at a face value which is higher, which is not possible today because Vodafone's Idea share is already below 10. So whatever conversion will happen at the face value of 10 till at least in this request, right, which Vodafone Idea has made. So I think, friends, I made myself very clear in this video. Based on whatever information that I have, I try to capture, and give you exactly what the situation is. The situation is not going to change substantially even if this conversion happens. There will be more that the Government of India has to do, based on what we have seen in this table. So if you see, this table was drawn only to give you an idea as to what the situation would look like, right? If you look at this table from here to here, how much will be the stake? 80%, roughly 80%, if Vodafone Idea's almost all their debt, DOT converts into equity. Right, friends? So thanks for listening, and I hope that you found this video useful, and I'll come back with a new video next time on a new topic. Thank you very much.